Now, you may be thinking, what kind of connection is there between a classic hard rock song from the 70s and a story about Black women from the 50s? Well, there are actually several important parallels. Have you ever seen a wrestling match in person? If you have, you know there's a rawness and an aggressive energy that those events just vibrate. And that raw, aggressive energy is captured by the classic hard rock song Barracuda by Heart. And that is exactly why I chose to include Barracuda on the soundtrack for the documentary I directed, Lady Wrestler, the amazing untold story of African American women in the ring. The documentary chronicles trailblazing women like Babs Wingo, Ethel Johnson, and Marva Scott, three sisters, three literal sisters, who were among the first Black women to integrate pro wrestling in the 1950s. Now, you may be thinking, what kind of connection is there between a classic hard rock song from the 70s and a story about Black women from the 50s? Well, there are actually several important parallels. First of all, as I mentioned, three of the women who integrated pro wrestling were actual sisters, sisters from a family. Babs Wingo, Ethel Johnson, who was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2021, and Marva Scott. And Ann and Nancy Wilson from Heart are actual sisters as well. Another important parallel, Ann and Nancy Wilson reportedly wrote the song Barracuda about a dishonest promoter who was costing them money, not paying them the way he should, and making promises that he couldn't deliver on. Now, in their case, of course, it was a concert promoter. But in the case of the three sisters, it was an infamous wrestling promoter named Billy Wolf. Now, Billy Wolf was a very complex man. He was a former wrestler himself who, in the 1930s, relocated from Missouri to my hometown of Columbus, Ohio, where the three sisters I mentioned, Babs, Ethel, and Marva, lived, and he recruited them into wrestling. Billy also groomed the first world's women wrestling champion, try saying that three times, Mildred Burke. Now, Billy was a white man, but he was influenced by Jackie Robinson and was sort of ahead of his time when it came to race relations. But in other ways, Billy was very regressive, very sexist, and in some ways he empowered women, and in other ways he exploited women. So the song Barracuda, those who did business with Billy Wolf would definitely say that title applies to him. Now, when I say soundtrack, the Lady Wrestler soundtrack is actually a playlist I made for myself to motivate myself while I was shooting interviews with Ethel and other women like Ramona Isbell, who paved the way for the female wrestlers of today, and also to keep my energy level up while I was editing and doing the voiceover at the Wexner Center for the Arts at The Ohio State University. If you want to find out more about these amazing women and about Billy Wolf and Mildred Burke, check out Lady Wrestler on Amazon Prime Video. Thank you for watching.